Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emmanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt a shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the Agentic Pivot, Emmanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emmanuel Rose. I'm your host. And today I'm joined by Josh Thomas. And Josh is a very experienced digital marketer, sales, business development guru, and a business owner for a long time who's helping entrepreneurs get things done by leveraging VAs. Josh, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, you got it. I've never been called guru before, so not sure how I feel about that. I'll take it.
Well, I wanted to ask you about how you got started with VAIQ, and it's got that funny little AI in the middle of it, which I know is not really part of your brand, but it's kind of a little play on letters at this point.
Yeah. It was actually, that was pretty coincidental. So the story, the short version of the story is the best reason to start a business is because you need to. Like I really gotta get these bills paid, and I don't have a job. So what do I do? I go ask people for money in exchange for doing stuff for them.
I love it.
The short version of it is I was working as this fancy pants consultant, and I was taking on all these big clients. And the reason people would hire me is because they usually had some sort of sales and marketing problem, or so they thought.
Yep.
And when we got into it, they would hire me. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's take a look at some sales strategies and marketing stuff. And what we realized is 90% of the time, they in fact did not have a sales problem or a marketing problem. They had an operations problem.
Interesting.
They didn't have the systems or the personnel in place to execute all the cool sales and marketing stuff they already had. And so the solution to that was, all right, cool. Well, let's slap a Band-Aid on that real quick. Let me go get you a VA from, some other country because they're cheap. And then let me use my understanding of what kind of systems you need. And I'll build a little system that they can operate in so that we don't have to manage them too much. And every time that I did that, within 90 days, the business would 3x to 5x. We didn't change hardly anything about their marketing strategy. We just got somebody reliable to go and execute the things that the business owner wasn't executing. That was it.
Right. Nice.
And once I realized, the real key there, unfortunately, was not my genius, but it was just execution consistently. That's when I realized, hey, I think there's a business here where we just go find the right people and we put them in the right place and we make sure they're doing the right things. And then you're all set, man. That's it. Business is easy.
Sounds magic. Yeah, right. Well, I love that. And how involved are you once you place a VA?
So we actually manage them every day. And we check in with them every day. We make sure that they understand all of the tasks. They've got all the support that they need. And then at the end of the day, we have them check in with us and say, well, here's what I did. Here's where I need help. So we kind of book in the day. And we found the reason for that, kind of going back to how this all started, is most business owners are very busy. They're very distracted. They're entrepreneurs. They're probably going in 1,000 different directions. And the thing that is the best bang for your buck is just having somebody checking in and saying, hey, what are you doing today? What is your goal and focus for today? And if you
Yeah.
don't know, great, I'm going to give you one. And then I'm just going to check in with you and make sure that you actually executed that. Those two little checkpoints where we have this morning huddle and end of day report, that's like 90% of the effectiveness of any kind of management system is just making sure somebody knows what they're supposed to be doing and that they actually did it. That's it.
I love the simplicity of it. Well, I guess what are some of the most unusual tasks that you've had some of your VAs do?
Unusual.
Yeah.
You caught me off guard on that one. Let's see.
Uh,
You know, I personally for my team, I have had as many as 10 full-time employees working directly for me, and I got it when I reduced a little bit because AI has helped a lot, but uh, I had pretty well siloed responsibilities. Like I had one person that was just doing editing for videos and podcasts. You know, I had
yeah.
one person that was just doing the messaging on my social media, and like it was pretty like siloed out. I have one person that does my back end development. I have one person that does web design. But as far as like really weird, bizarre stuff, yeah, probably not. Probably not. It's just pretty normal stuff.
No problem. Well, it's interesting that you talk about it siloed because that's a lot of the way that the people are building these AI agents now, right? And in very specific tasks to
Mhm.
do just like that. So, we'll talk a little bit about how AI has impacted what you're doing at the AIQ.
Well, I think there's a current trending topic that's probably worth bringing up here on this show, and it's about this company called Medvi. You heard about this?
I don't know those guys. No.
So Medvi, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, predicted that there would be a one-person billion-dollar business, and
Yeah.
uh, and the
I
internet
do.
has now.
I have been following the story. I just didn't know the
Yeah.
name of it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the internet has dubbed Medvi, and I can't remember the guy's name, Gallagher, I think, as
Yeah.
that one person billion-dollar business. And everybody was like, oh my God, it's so possible, right? And then 1 to 2 days later, that's when we find out how they got to $1 billion by, really aggressive, misleading tactics
Yeah.
and
A little bit of trouble
scamming.
with the FTC and the FDA
Yeah.
both,
And when you dig into it, you see all of the things that people are saying, and when you read between the lines of all the complaints that people were making about interacting with this company, it
Yeah.
all points to the fact that everything was built with AI. The customer
Right.
service is handled by AI, and the AI was instructed to, like, never give any money back and negotiate deals or whatever, but then it's negotiating all these deals that don't make any sense.
Yeah. Right.
And it's causing, I mean, obviously they're making a bunch of money, but they can't keep operating relying on AI to make those decisions for them.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because to me that it doesn't really fit like the $1 billion solopreneur, uh, just for the fact that there's so much fraud in there, right? Like it's, I think what we're seeing is there's a lot of other groups. Like there's a guy who I think it's called Pulsey.ai. It's a marketing platform, and it's a solopreneur, and he's got like a $4.5 million ARR, and he's growing pretty exponentially. Like that's a story that's interesting because it truly is one guy creating software, bringing on onboarding clients, and like he had a post on X last week, and he's like. this week almost broke me. All my clients were at their use limits. The bots were drifting in their focus, and he had like all these things that were going wrong, and he's kind of like, I just about canned it all. The money's not worth it.
Yeah. You get to this point to where it's like, well, the idea of AI is great, but the execution of it is nowhere near as high as you would like it to be.
Yeah, and I think part of it is that there's a lot of prosumers involved in this now, right? Like I'm not a coder or a developer by training or by experience, but here I have all these amazing tools at my disposal that I may or may not be able to figure out how to use correctly and properly. So I think that's part of it is there's a flood, and we see it every day, a flood of tools. And so part of what my job is in deploying or helping clients deploy these things is to go back and say, what is the SOP and what are the KPIs? And is there a tool is it a tool, or is it that you need to update your systems, or you need to hire another human, or do you need to automate instead of bringing in AI? Because that's a distinction that is worth reviewing. So, that's
I think there's this chemical dopamine rush that you get for getting on the inside track and trying the new thing, and this has been true for at least the last couple of years, that people have been really piling on to AI. They're trying to use AI to solve a fundamental problem that you have, and AI is not necessarily the best solution. An example would be, I've seen, from a marketing perspective, I've seen tons and tons of people try to figure out, how do I automate outreach, or how do I automate customer service, or how do I automate sales even? And the real problem with that is if you really don't have enough bandwidth to handle those things yourself or with a human, then okay, AI starts to make sense. But if you do have that bandwidth, you are 10 times better off having a human handle that than AI, because a sales conversation, a support conversation, that is by and large the most sensitive and consequential and lucrative amount of time that you can spend interacting with people who have already or will soon spend money with you.
Yeah.
Handing that over to AI makes absolutely zero sense until you just cannot do it yourself anymore.
Right. Yeah, I think we're aligned on that. And for me, my goal is not to have AI replace everything I do and just have money show up in my PayPal account, right? I want to have it
I don't
automate
know,
the
that
things
sounds pretty sexy, Emmanuel.
Yeah, but we still got to work, right? Like I think we still have to produce things. We're incarnated to provide value to other humans and the world we live in, and nobody's going to just sit around on the beach for the rest of their life. You and I we're problem solvers, right? Like, yeah, of course we all want mailbox money. I love mailbox money, but the goal is not to have AI replace me as the creative force. It is to supplement the things I'm not good at, or I need help with, or that we don't have resources for right now, and then let me do the work that only the human can do. Exactly what you're describing. Just having this conversation, talking to my prospects, talking to my customers, and then going for a walk and thinking about what's the next poem I want to write, or what's the next book I'm going to put together, and then doing that.
Yep. Yeah, that's the elevating yourself to the highest possible level. And the other thing that I think is interesting, just your podcast has a very great topic, marketing in the age of AI. It's not necessarily about AI, but it's not necessarily not about AI.
Yeah, right. I
The
appreciate that you could see the distinction.
the thing that I find interesting is, we were running ads for a long time, and I got a copywriter and a media buyer, and he has shared with me how his job and his process has evolved just in the last 6 months,
Sure.
about how much it has changed, how much easier it is now to iterate. He uses Claude to get ads out, to get VSLs written. AI is so much better with those iterations, whereas something would take him, hours or days before. He can get a draft out in minutes.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
But here's the most important part of this: is now you can get a draft out in minutes. It doesn't mean the draft is good. It just means it's
Yes.
complete.
Yeah. Right.
And that's where, like, you have to be careful. There are these platforms out there like Lovable, Base 44, and like you just go and tell it what you want, and it'll build something really beautiful and amazing in like
Yeah.
90 seconds, and you're looking at it like, oh my God, this is great. Now, if you go and try to use it, it doesn't work. It's just pretty.
Yeah.
It's like asking a really, really pretty girl out and then realizing she's just like has no personality at all. It's like, okay, this isn't going to work. But the real issue with AI is it shows well, it demos well, but once you have to actually apply it, it takes a human to understand and put together all of the wires on the back end. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big machine built mess.
Yeah, I'm with you. And so I had some clients that were like, "Well, I want to spool up the Claude bot. I want to get that going in my business." I'm like, "You guys haven't even figured out your data lakes yet, much less spinning up Claude bot." So there's a lot of this that, for whatever reason, has ended up where people are skipping a ton of steps, exactly the way you're describing it, making beautiful stuff and lovable, but that it is not secure. For instance, I had a situation where somebody sent me a questionnaire and it was made lovable, and I'm like, I got somebody else's answers already populated in the questionnaire. I'm like, I'm not touching that, man. That's not even level 1 security at that point. So the real thing is to say, what are the gaps? Is there already a tool that I could find, even something like Zapier, that will solve this problem for me, and let's move on with the day, not have to make it a big AI conversation.
Well, I think there's some checks and balances that are worth putting in place. Like, so let's talk about something concrete. If you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to grow your business and you're seeing all of this hype and all these people talking about AI, or you saw some ad, or you saw some guy talk about how, he spoke 2 sentences into this prompt and then it created this whole overnight, $1 million a month business.
Yeah.
Stop and put your grandpa hat on, and my grandpa said anything worth doing is worth doing right. And he also was not a fan of skipping steps or taking shortcuts. He's like, look, go and figure out what needs to be done and go and do the most important thing. Yeah. And so the best filter you can really put on is ask yourself a question. Does this problem need to be solved with AI at all? And then the backup question would be, is AI the most appropriate solution, or is there an easier one?
Right.
And I think as long as you're asking those questions, then you can avoid wasting a lot of time and energy trying to save all this time and energy with AI. Because that's what we end up doing. And it's like, all right. And I've been in this situation where it's like, okay, I could write something, or I use Gemini a lot. And I found myself like spending more time working with Gemini to get the thing written out than it would have taken for me to just write the damn thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I should have just wrote it. But it feels it's more fun for me to command a machine to do work than to actually do the work myself.
Well, that is the thing that we all have to figure out, and that's why I go back to, let's just understand what's the outcome we're trying to produce, and then what's the key performance indicator, and then we can decide how to approach that. And some things we need humans for. So what's next on your docket for VAIQ? What, anything coming up new for you guys?
So we're growing pretty fast right now. There's two distinct areas where we're seeing a lot of success, placing high level professionals in small businesses. So we place international employees. We mostly recruit from Central and South America, and the reason for that is it is the same time zones as the US. They're familiar with Western business culture, and they want to work. Like, they want to work hard. They're not going to, miss days or anything like that, because they're very motivated to take care of their families and that sort of thing. Plus, you can save a ton of money hiring somebody in Honduras or El Salvador versus Atlanta, because the cost of living is different, and you just don't need to pay as much to get a high quality of life there, because they can live cheaper. And so we get people with college degrees, with years of experience, that have already worked with U.S. companies. If bookkeepers, accountants, engineers, paralegals, pretty much anything that you would hire for, marketing experts, executive assistants, kind of the whole thing. If you need somebody to set appointments or answer the phone, we can place those people, no problem. Their English is pristine, no problem with that. Also, they're bilingual, Spanish and English, which is valuable.
Yeah.
The other thing that we found, that's kind of one area of it. The other thing that we're placing a lot right now is appointment setters, like cold callers. That still works. It still works in B2C, in home services. It still works in B2B, in any level of business, as long as, number one, you've got a script that works, and you've got enough volume. And that is one thing that I think is worth sharing is we've placed, in the last 6 weeks, I think we've placed like 30 cold callers. Wow. We have a couple of call center clients. We've placed like 30 cold callers, and they're booking appointments, man. Like, it still works in 2026. But you have to have a script that works, that's proven to work. And you have to have, good, like a service that you offer that people want. And that's another thing that I think is worth mentioning here is, like, hey, look, I can go and get you somebody that knows how to set appointments, but they are not like marketing or sales geniuses. They are executors.
Yeah.
You have to have a great business and a great offer. You have to have a script that already converts. You can't just go and get somebody to take your crappy business and turn it into a great business.
Yeah.
It's already got to be good, and then you get an implementer, right? But if your script is not converting, or you don't have a good process, then you have a different problem. You need to hire for that solution, right? Going and getting somebody to run through your script that doesn't convert won't make it convert. And it's the same thing going back to AI.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if your business is flailing without AI, inserting AI is not going to fix it. You got to fix the business, and then hire, or then delegate, or then automate. And that is one step that I think too many people skip. Coming from a guy that financially benefits by you hiring people from me, like, don't hire somebody to go and implement your broken systems, fix your systems. And if you don't know how, great, hire somebody that knows how.
Right.
And that'll be the best investment that you've ever made.
I love it, Josh. That makes a lot of sense. You got to fix your systems first in order for them to produce the outcomes you need. and whether that's through AI or through a VA. So, well, I enjoyed talking to you. If somebody else wants to have a conversation, how do they catch up with you?
Yeah, if you are interested in potentially hiring somebody and you don't want to pay a overpriced lazy American, then you can go to vaiq.net. And I do have a book that I wrote called Build Without Borders. You can get it for free. You just go to the website and look for the free book under the resources. And that book is my roadmap for exactly how I source, hire, train, and manage international employees successfully. And I've done that many hundreds of times. And it's for the grand total of $0. You can have that exact roadmap on how you can do it yourself. And if you might want some help with it, you can book a call. I'll talk to anybody that wants to talk about this because there's too much misinformation and crappy companies out there. If you really want to know how to do it right, let's talk. If it makes sense for us to do some business together, great. If it's something that I can just point you in the right direction and be a resource, I'm happy to expand my network.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. What's the website for that again to get the book?
vaiq.net.
All right. Good stuff. Well, Josh, I really appreciate you taking time to talk with me today. It's good to meet you. And I hope you have a very, very good week and a great rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right. Be well. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Josh today, Josh Thomas from VAIQ. I sure did. And I like what he had to say about taking some time to review your systems and make sure that the systems are in good order, and then augment that with humans when it's appropriate and technology when it's appropriate. Thanks for joining today. I hope you take some time to build out a custom GPT or chart out an SOP inside your business and find where you can save some time. And with that time, you continue to upskill, that you spend it with your friends and family, and that you get outside into nature, away from the screens. It's Emmanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.